sharp, get ready for the talk. Join host Jerry McKee, he's the man with the show. From mayors to musicians, let the good times flow. Grab a seat and settle down, get ready for a ride. Incredible guests lined up, let's take it in stride. Voices from your community, stories to be told. With every conversation, let the magic unfold. Join the prime time, come on, tune in. Engage in discussions where the fun begins. With Jerry McKee at the helm of the stream. Experience the vibes, live the dream. From Ronnie McDowell to the Oak Ridge Boys, connecting us all through laughter and joys. Every guest a treasure, a beacon of light. Each story a journey, taking flight. Get to know the people who shape our days. With Jerry leading the way, we'll be amazed. So grab your coffee, it's time to unwind.
Well, hello, I'm Jerry McKee, and welcome to Prime Time. We've got a great show for you tonight. We talk about farms and growing vegetables and growing all these wonderful things that we eat. Well, this is not going to be nothing that you're going to eat, but you're going to learn something about a farm. We're going to be having David Polk on our show in just a moment. I'll bring him up close. And he's the co-owner of Polk's Butterfly Farm in Nespec, Pennsylvania. Now, David started the farm in his basement in 2009 after helping his daughter, Christy, with a Future Farmers of America project, and has since grown into an 8-acre operation. And boy, is it a big operation. And you're going to say, well, wait a minute. What is it? It's butterflies. It is butterflies. And as you can see, the logo's behind me. You can't see the name because I'm blocking it, but it's a beautiful logo. And let's bring David on. Hey, just imagine you can having a project with your daughter or your son, and all of a sudden it blossoms out to something like this. It is great. Hey, David, how you doing?
Very good, and you?
Doing fantastic. Now, David, now I got to ask, did you think that you will be doing this when you had this project with your daughter?
I never thought that I would be raising bugs. It's been a wonderful trip. Have enjoyed 99.9% of it. Love actually raising the butterflies. If you see things flying by here, it's because the butterflies, we're actually in the butterfly house, and the butterflies are liking the camera. They are flying right in front of it here. So
we're going to really get a good close-up of the butterflies then.
You'll get if we're not careful, they do tend to land right across the camera. We have that with our exhibits a lot of times. They'll actually land right on the end of the cameras that we have in the exhibit. And all you get to see is the underside of a butterfly.
Now, David, the weather up there, how's the weather today up that way, the temperature-wise?
Right now, we are at about 80, 85 degrees. A little bit warmer here because we're actually in the butterfly house, which is a covered greenhouse. And we do have the sides rolled up and the ends rolled up, and you can hear the fan in the background. That's the exhaust fan located in the peak of the greenhouse to move, as much of it out. But when it's already 80 degrees outside, it's a little hard to cool it off in here.
Well, I can only imagine that right there, because here it's been very hot, 90s. I guess it's around 95, 96, somewhere like that today. We've been having a lot of thunderstorms come flying by, and it knocks power and everything else and trees down a little bit, especially downtown. But unfortunately, it came a little bit earlier today, so it kind of brushed on back about 5 o'clock through us. And now, how did your daughter become with I know with FA, and how did she pick a butterfly as a project?
Well, she really didn't pick it. I used to service large format copy equipment, and I was in the Hazleton area, somebody I've known for 25 years. And I said to her, I said, "Oh, we're looking for a project for my daughter for FFA." And she says, "Well, why don't you raise butterflies?" Turns out I knew who she was, but I didn't know who her husband was. Her husband was Rick McCullough. He is the original Mr. Butterfly, and he has raised butterflies for almost 40 years. Both him and his wife have now passed away, but they are the ones that got us started, Rick and Claudia McCullough. And we took the suggestion to her ag teacher, and they thought we were nuts. Um, turn around now. It's been 17 years, and I can take you on a tour of the rest of the farm. We have a 32 by 88-foot cathedral ceiling pavilion that overlooks an acre and a half of garden, set next to about 150-foot retaining wall that has garden all behind it, and nice picket fence across the top of it. So we have taken it from raising butterflies to a venue, and our biggest thing we do is education. In the spring, in May, we do about 1,500 students in the month of May that come for field trips. Last year, we turned away 11 schools because we weren't able to accommodate them. We have now added vinyl curtains and heaters in our pavilion. So we will be contacting some of those schools here over the summertime to see if we can get them back, because now we have an additional 12 to 15 days that we're able to make available for school field trips.
Wow. Now, you said you serviced printers?
I used to service large format copy equipment.
Well, it's kind of ironic because I just retired last year from Xerox Corporation.
I used to service large format Xerox, the 5510s and what was the 88 something or other. But I also serviced HPs and OSAs and the Hewlett Packard large format inkjets. So yeah, that's my past life.
Well, I mean, you said that. I said, wait a minute, we got some ink in our blood here.
I got lots of ink in my blood, lots of toner too.
Oh yes, definitely, definitely. Now, is your daughter is she an agriculture teacher?
She is an agricultural instructor. She works for the Central Columbia School District, which is our local school district now. She started out 3 hours away, and she worked out there for 7 years at the United High School in Armagh. And then she took a position here at Columbia Montour Votech. And she was there for a little bit, and then the opportunity came up for her to return to her home school, where she graduated from, and she is now the ag teacher at Central Columbia High School.
Wow. And folks, I was going to let you know, if you see a QR code right there, all you got to do is take your phone and scan it. You don't have to type nothing in. All you got to do is scan it, and it'll take you right to the website if you want to learn more or have some questions or go visit. If you're up in that area, hey, you can go and just check this out for you butterfly lovers. Because my wife, when she saw you actually on our local television station here, I guess some of those picks up some of the national ones and different areas. And she saw you on there. She says, "You got to call David, and you got to call that guy. And this butterfly, we got to know about these things."
Well, we didn't know that it was going out that far. We've done several with our local TV stations here, but we do a lot with our community. We go back to our school here. We do what they call Ag in the Classroom. We participate in that. And this is all stuff that is pro bono. We do a a fundraiser for the Bloomsburg Children's Museum every year. That's usually in January or February. We raise butterflies and we take them down there and we set up a whole tent in their facility, and we do that as a fundraiser for them. The other thing we do is we'll be going into the Geisinger Children's Hospital, and we actually go up to the balcony and we set up a tent up there, and we've had millions of dollars worth of medical equipment in our exhibit with some of the children that have come into it. Love every minute of it. And we
Wow.
usually take butterflies with us for the Geisinger trip for all the children that are in the hospital to do a butterfly release up on the balcony up there.
Now, does your daughter help you design some of the educational tours there?
Most of it we've developed over the years of doing it. I didn't bring my costume in here with me. I have a 4-foot pair of wings that I can wear, as well as all the parts of the butterfly, because butterflies are really unique creatures. They taste with their feet. They
Oh,
smell
wow.
with their antennas, and they eat with their proboscis. So anybody coming in the butterfly house, we give them a Q-tip soaked in Gatorade. And when you put it under the feet of the butterfly, they taste it. And Gatorade, grape Gatorade is a favorite. So out comes the proboscis and they start to eat. So it's all about the education. People won't take care of, or won't help what they don't understand. And that's what we have been trying to do, is to get people to understand what butterflies need in order to survive. Locally here, everybody says, well, I have a butterfly bush. Well, butterfly bush is great, but that's only a food source. You need to have bushes and trees and shrubs, places for the butterflies to hide and get out of the weather and get away from the predators. But the other thing you need to have is you have to have a water source, and butterflies don't swim. So we actually have a spot in our pond that has fine stone in it, and the water level stays just below. We have an automatic float on it, and it stays just below the surface of the stone. And that allows butterflies and bees to land on the stones and get a drink without drowning. And it's very, very important, especially early spring, because we find lots of honeybees floating before we have it set up. So we kind of have to get them out. But the other thing that they need is they need host plants. And the host plants for butterflies are all different. Everybody knows the host plant for monarch is milkweed. All right, there's about 50 different varieties of milkweed in the United States. Not all of them are local to each region. Here in our area, which is we're Pennsylvania, Northeast Pennsylvania, we have three milkweeds that are native to our area. Asclepias tuberosa, which is called butterfly weed, Asclepias syrica, which is common milkweed, and Asclepias incarnata, which is swamp milkweed. We raise the majority of our butterflies, our monarch butterflies, we raise them on the incarnata or swamp milkweed, and then we harvest a lot from our local fields, from our farm fields, as long as we know they're not sprayed. And we have a good enough relationship with all of our farmers that we can ask, and we know the answer to that. So we go and we harvest a lot of that. We did that today. We were out, went to a friend, and we pulled about half a pickup truck load of common milkweed. And we have it all in the back. We crushed the stems on the bottom. We got it in water and fed what we needed to feed. But we have lots of milkweed back there. That'll last us 2 days.
Now, when you have the milkweed, like when you talk about you cut it and harvest, like, are you making a nectar out of it, or what do you? How do you making the I guess the food for the butterflies?
Well, you like Gatorade? The quart
Yes.
bottle? Okay. Well, we like the quart bottles of Gatorade because when they're empty, they make a really good stand for common milkweed. We take the lids off of them, we fill them full of water, and we can get about 5 or 6 stems of common milkweed in there, and we put that in a cage, and then the butterflies, or the caterpillars eat the leaves. And that is what caterpillars eat. They eat leaves. And monarchs are milkweed. Eastern black swallowtails is dill, parsley, fennel, Queen Anne's lace, which is wild carrot. Spice bush is spice bush or sassafras. Pipevine is pipevine, aristolochia, or Virginia snakeroot. And every caterpillar has to have its own food. And if you'd like, I can show you some of them right here. We actually have our monarchs are on the move. See if I can get this out here. See the monarchs crawling up?
Yes.
Okay, they are monarch caterpillars, and this is common milkweed. See if we can get a picture. There he is. He's coming up the backside. All right, and this is some of the milkweed that we use to feed our caterpillars. A single caterpillar will eat a 3-foot high milkweed plant all by himself in about 12 days. Okay.
My goodness, that's a lot.
That is a lot. The first call that we usually get in the spring is from people saying, there's this big green and black bug. He's eating my parsley. What do I do? Well, if he's eating your parsley, oh, he's attached. You might as well plant more parsley because he is going to eat it all. This is the critter that you see right there. And this is the eastern black swallowtail caterpillar. And you see the little black guy there?
Yes,
That's a pipevine. And I tried to take him off, and I can't take him off because he has attached himself, and he is going to make his chrysalis right there. So, but these guys here, if you see, they have no antennas.
right.
See if I can get him. See if I can get him to stick his osmeterium out for you. Usually, if you there it comes. Did you see it? That little
Yes.
orange thing, right at the top of his head. He's trying to smear. He's trying to smear me with it, and that is a defense mechanism. When a bird grabs them, they arch up and they put that osmeterium out and they shove it right down the nostril of the bird, and it stinks. If you'd smell my fingers right now, you'd understand. So, but it really has a very pungent odor to it. And see if I can get some of my other guys here. And hopefully the bird says, you stink, I don't want to eat you. And they drop them and they go back to eating. But it doesn't take too long. The birds realize that they're a pretty good snack. And so they end up eating a fair amount of them. Less than 2% of all the eggs that are laid in the wild will ever become butterflies. They, somewhere along the line, they all get eaten. And that's actually a good thing, because if they didn't, all right, a single butterfly lays about 500 eggs. And if there was no predation, within 6 generations, we would have over 1 trillion butterflies from one butterfly. And what would happen is there'd be nothing green left. So therefore, there would be no oxygen left. So it is very important that they're low on the food chain. Now, the next one we have here to show you is a spice bush. If I can can you see him there?
Yes.
Okay, that is a spice bush swallowtail. All right, and if I let go of his leaf will roll shut. And that is because that is one of their protections. He actually rolls his leaf up just like that. If you can see all the leaves that are rolled up.
Yes.
And there's 2 more of them hanging out there.
So it's kind of like a blanket.
Yeah, they actually do. They actually roll them right shut. See if I can, yeah, this one right here in the top. See how it is completely rolled shut? Right here?
Yes.
All right. If I can get a hold of it here, I'm pretty sure there's a caterpillar in it. Yep, there he is.
Ah.
So, and when I let go of that, it goes right back shut. And these butterflies here caterpillars here that we're showing you are all native to the state of Pennsylvania. We have about 64 butterflies native to the state of Pennsylvania and somewhere around 3,000 moths that are native to the state of Pennsylvania. But here's you can get a good picture of him. That is a pipevine caterpillar. That's that same one that was going to make his chrysalis. So there, oh, he's gonna come right out. There you go. He's gonna come right out and hang around there for you, so that you can get a good picture of him. But they tickle when they crawl. We have a good time with the kids. We'll put a caterpillar on their hand and let them crawl around, and they think it's the greatest thing since sliced bread. But we're very hands-on here with our education. We try to make it as entertaining and as fun as possible because they tend to retain a whole lot more of it. And then they also care about what the butterflies are and what it takes to sustain them. So that's very important, for our conservation. 3 out of every 4 bites of food that you take are touched by pollinators. So we need pollinators, and not just butterflies, but the bees. And we have 16 different species of mason bees in our garden. Really cool to watch. Some really cool bumblebees. I didn't know what some of the bumblebees were, and I had a friend come in, Rick Koval, and he was showing me some of the different bumblebees, and it's a really good learning experience, to see what actually takes place in our garden.
Well, I've seen the bumblebees, and we also got here carpenter bees, which look like
Yep.
a bumblebee. And I interviewed last week a lady up in Netherlands, Canada. She was a master beekeeper, and gosh, I learned so much about bees. Like I'm learning a lot about butterflies here, because I see the butterflies in my yard and flying around here, and I try to capture the picture of them. But I got to be pretty quick to catch them, the picture of them. But they're just beautiful creatures. Now, how long does it take, far as from the say from the egg to become a flying butterfly?
Each one is a little bit different, and like painted ladies are one of the shortest ones. Painted ladies are about 26 days from the time the egg is laid until you have an adult butterfly. But with that, excuse me, you go to the swallowtails. The monarchs are in between. They're 30 days at 70 degrees. But swallowtails, they're really unique because you can have a swallowtail take anywhere from about 35 days to 2.5 years.
Wow.
And they spend it in their chrysalis. Sorry, if you see me looking away, it's because butterflies are flying next to me here. And
I can see them flying.
I kind of have butterfly ADHD. When I see things fly, I got to see what it is. But yeah, so the swallowtails are really a unique group of butterflies. They can go into their chrysalis and they can be out in 8 to 9 days, or they can stay in their chrysalis for over a year. And that is how that variety of butterflies actually spends the winter, is in a chrysalis. So we actually overwintered between spicebush, pipevine, and eastern blacks, almost 1,000 chrysalis last year that we overwintered. So.
Now, how do you maintain a sterile laboratory conditions in a breeding rooms, kind of to prevent diseases or parasites from wiping out the entire generations or larvae?
The only one that is really an issue is the monarch for us. Occasionally we get some of the predators, okay, but we have these, okay, and this is you can see my buddy there. This is one of our mesh tents. Oh, I got one on the bottom too. And these are what they call parasite-proof netting. And if I lay it down, I'm going to squish the butterfly. parasite-proof netting, and we have castles like that are 2 foot by 2 foot by 3 foot. And all of our butterflies are raised in those castles, all of our caterpillars. It keeps out the parasitic flies and the wasps so they can't get to them to lay eggs on them. The only thing we do have occasionally is we get a spider inside, and that might come in on the host plant. But the other thing is when they go to molt, when they go to shed their skin, the caterpillars love to line up on the outside of the netting. And third instar monarch caterpillars are notorious for this. And unfortunately, the stink bugs will walk right down the outside and put their proboscis right through the netting and stab the caterpillars and drain them from the outside. So when we see a stink bug like that, we tend to dispose of him quite readily. The other thing we get is in here, and I just got one yesterday, was praying mantis. And the praying mantis, when they're little, they can come through the netting. And so when we start seeing the little ones inside, they get relocated. We take them out, we take them down in the woods or someplace else. They're not allowed in the garden, and they're not allowed in the butterfly house. So, but we try to eliminate as many predators as possible. We do wash our eggs in a bleach solution to keep them as clean as possible. But most of the caterpillars, we raise them in as natural a condition as we can. Our cages are all kept outside, so they have all the breeze, and the sunshine. They're under a lean-to, so they are protected from the rain. But we have, if it's breezy outside, if it's cool outside, it's cool where the butterflies are, where the caterpillars are. So, we do everything we can. It is not going to be a sterile environment. They don't need a sterile environment. So we raise them as close to natural as possible.
Yeah, we have those nasty little stink bugs that that time of year we just see them. They get in the house and everywhere else, and they're just a pest.
Hey, it's getting cooler here, so let me take you for a quick walk around the butterfly house here, because the sun is starting to set a little bit here, and as it does, the butterflies are going to roost. So let me take you for a quick walk, and we'll show you what's in here in the butterfly house. And if you'd like, I can even take you out and show you a quick overview of the property.
Sure, that'd be great.
All right. So I'm just going to leave you right on there. I'm going to be out of the picture, but we're going to take you around here, and you can see all the butterflies that are hanging out on the net. Well, down there we have a swallowtail that is a spicebush swallowtail. He's crawled in down there next to the plant. And you can see here we have a pair, and that pair is making more butterflies for us. So, but we have all different kind of plants because every butterfly has different preferences. And we have to kind of watch where we're walking because there's a lot of them here on the ground. So get around here. And we do have a few moths in here. Like I said, we just put some in here the other day. We're going to come over here. It's a little bit darker on this end, but you can see this is Mexican sunflower, and the monarchs absolutely love it. So see if we can get you. There's a whole bunch of them back through there. You can see all the different ones. And of course, zinnias, and they love the zinnias as well. So everything that we plant for the butterflies. We don't put much in the way of host plants in here for the simple fact that we don't want them destroying them. And I am going to show you some because we have some host plants that we brought in here. All right. And I'll show you why we don't bring a whole lot of host plants in here. There's quite a few of them over here too. Okay. Oh yeah. Look at them all here.
Wow.
So they're just hanging out. They're getting ready to start to roost for the night. And they love this Mexican sunflower.
Where do they go to roost?
They'll actually crawl in the Mexican sunflower. They'll crawl up on the netting, someplace where they can get a good hold for the night, and that's where they stay. Okay. So over here, this is where we have some of our host plants, and they're all here. Can you see the caterpillars?
Yes.
Right there is about 6 of them, and they are just destroying that rue. There's rue that they totally cleaned off. And that's why we don't put many host plants in here. We put just enough for them to lay eggs on. And then if you come down here, these were past tense, nice bushy spice bush. And they're the caterpillars I showed you with the rolled up leaves. And that's what they have done to those little trees. All right. And then the last one we have is over here. And this is pipevine. And oh, there he is, right in the front. Can you see him there in the top?
Yes, see him right there.
Okay. Yep. He is munching away. Look at all the damage done to these leaves.
Wow.
They've done a lot of damage to the leaves. So we've been picking the eggs off because we want to be able to have more eggs, and they won't lay eggs without having someplace to lay them. That is their host plant. So that's why we try to preserve them a little bit. But you can see there's some butterflies flying, but they are beginning to settle down for the day. So, but we're just gonna step outside here for just a second. Excuse my net here. We're gonna come out here, and this is some of our gardens that we have here, and our pavilion. So this is actually fence. Our fence here, and then down below is another walkway, and it is all, I don't know if I can get it up there for you or not, but you can actually see there. You can see the gardens, and you can see that's our fire pit. We have a 4-foot fire pit that we use for different events, but the retaining wall here has garden both directions, and then there's about 1.5 acre garden that is out here, has a gazebo and a pond, and then this is our pavilion that we host different events in, and where we do all of our schools. So, but
a beautiful farm.
yes, thank you. So don't come to the garden and expect to see a pristine garden. The majority of our plants are designed for or are planted for the butterflies, and they're host plants. So we started talking about that earlier, that all the butterflies have different host plants. And in our garden, we have host plants for about 15 different species of butterflies already. We're working on adding more to that. But when you come, you will find a lot of our plants are chewed up or eaten like the ones in the butterfly house. And everybody says your plants have holes in them. Yeah, isn't that a good thing? You know, that's a great thing. We can do caterpillar hunts with the kids, you know, usually late June, July, and August. And last year, we found 7 different species of butterflies or larvae in our garden. And they all come there naturally. We don't put any of them in. And just by having everything that the butterflies need, we can actually get them to come and lay eggs on their own.
Now, in the winter time, what happens with the butterflies and in midwinter?
Well, everybody has their own way of overwintering. Okay, most people are familiar with the monarchs, and I'm going to grab a chair here. Most people are familiar with the monarchs in the fact that the monarchs migrate to Mexico. Okay, and everybody else has their own way. You have ones like all the swallowtails. The swallowtail family all goes into a chrysalis. Their caterpillars go into a chrysalis, usually in for us, it's late August, early September. Excuse me. And they spend the entire winter stuffed in that little chrysalis. Then you have ones like the Baltimore checker spot. Their caterpillars, they lay their eggs late in the fall. They only do one brood a year. And the caterpillars get to the third instar, which is the third time that they shed their skin. And they burrow in the ground. When the plant starts to die off in the fall, they burrow into the ground. And then they spend all winter in the ground. And when the plants start to push leaves in the spring, the caterpillars come out of the ground, finish eating, make their chrysalis, and become butterflies. So they spend the winter in the ground. Fritillaries do the same thing. They'll go in the ground. Hackberry emperors, they make what's called a hibernaculum. And they go on the leaf of their host tree, which is hackberry, is one of them. So if you've ever gone for a walk in the fall and where the leaves are already coming off, and you see one leaf stuck on a tree, or maybe, 2 or 3 leaves stuck on a tree, that's because the hackberry emperor goes up and they stitch that leaf at the petiole with silk. They wrap it up against the stem so it can't fall off. And then they go down to the leaf and they roll it up like a little cigar. And they stitch the end with silk, crawl in it, stitch the end, the other end closed, and that is where they spend the winter. And so if you're looking for, hackberry emperor caterpillars in the wintertime, as long as the birds haven't discovered that they're in there and snipped the end off and pulled them out, you can find them just by looking for their hibernaculums. Viceroys will do the same thing. The one that mimics the monarch, they'll do the same thing. They'll go into a hibernaculum. There are some that just die off up here, like the red spotted purples and sorry, not red spotted purples, but the red admirals. Okay, red admirals, painted ladies, buckeyes. They literally just die off up here, and then in the spring, the new group just follows the food north as the plants, begin to bloom. So everybody has their own way of spending the winter or adapting to it, and of course, like I said, the monarchs migrate.
Does the monarchs, when they migrate, do they migrate back, or is that just a one-way trip?
No, actually, monarchs in the fall are what's called diapause. And diapause means that they're not sexually active. Okay. And when a monarch is not sexually active in diapause, they live 6 to 8 months. And to break diapause, you have to have longer days of daylight, all right, and temperatures that are beginning to warm. So when they migrate to Mexico in the fall, they're in diapause. And right around December 21st, summer solstice, the days start getting, or the winter solstice, and then the days start getting longer. As the days get longer and it warms, the monarchs begin to break diapause. They'll mate and begin moving back north. Those butterflies that flew down in November, December, all right, will be creating the next generation as they come north. We don't see monarchs here normally until the end of June, the first week in July. Although this year, about 3 weeks ago, we had a photographer here in our garden, and he found 2 monarch caterpillars out in the garden that we did not know were here. So at some point, a female had to come through that was bred and was laying eggs. So,
well, let's take some look at some pictures here that I put up your site here that can really kind of explain some of the things that we talked about. So let me click on here. We'll put us down below. This is, of course, your logo, which is you've seen behind me. I just had the title blocked, Folks Butterfly Farm, and this, of course, it's address and everything there.
that's actually just one of our magnets that we sell in our gift shop.
Oh, really? Well, I'll tell you
Yep.
what, it's a beautiful magnet.
Well, thank you.
And folks, that's right. He's got some merch there, and we'll see those two here in a moment. And
That's a
this,
painted lady.
just a beautiful markings. It's amazing. Now, is this some? And I got some of these flowers here. That is that some that they butterflies?
That's just a petunia. It's a standard petunia. It has a very deep flower, and it's odd because there was monarchs on it, and that is typically a flower that the swallowtails like. The swallowtails have a very, very long proboscis, and they like the long tubed flowers because not too many other butterflies or bees can get in some of the long tubed flowers.
Oh, okay. Now this is just once it gets its wings folded, I guess folded up. The reason it looks so skinny, not because it didn't eat.
No, I can say a butterfly that doesn't eat doesn't last very long. Um, they're pretty much like a hummingbird. They have to eat, quite regularly, and they have a wide variety of things that they can eat. Most people know that they eat nectar, okay, but they also eat tree sap. When the deer go
Oh,
through and they browse the ends of the branches off, and the tree sap will drip, they'll drink tree sap. They also like a good pile of dung. Nothing better than a good old cow flop out in the field. And another one is carrion. The juice is running out of carrion, like laying along the road. That's prime feeding for butterflies.
wow.
So they eat some
I
pretty.
just, yeah, I always thought it was just the plants is the only thing the flowers the only thing they eat. Wow.
That was a wedding that was in the butterfly house. We do weddings here as well as our school groups, and we just had a celebration of life here. We had almost 200 people here for that.
Hmm. A question I've got, I've seen where some companies or some like it that ship butterflies.
We ship butterflies, but we prefer to work locally. We've
Right.
had a lot of issues, not with the butterflies themselves, but with the shipping companies. And it's been
That's
really,
understandable.
yeah, it's been really tough, and we're really concerned about what happens to our butterflies. And when it's something like that where it's beyond our control, I have a hard time with that. So
I understand that because I always wonder because the survival rate and especially we've all got packages that who knows what kind of climate or how they got here.
if we ship everything overnight, okay, and if our packages arrive, on time, we have almost zero, problems. If they do like they did the other day, we had one that was scheduled for a Friday delivery, and they failed to deliver it, and it wasn't delivered until Monday, but it was left someplace hot. Those are pipevine swallowtail caterpillars, lots of them.
Yeah, you
The
showed us
big
one a
black
few
ones
weeks
there.
ago.
So, but overall, we handle almost all of our butterflies here locally.
Well, that's good. That's good. Yeah, you just showed us one. Is that correct? Is this the same one you showed
Same
us earlier?
caterpillar as what you have there. Yep. I was on the vine
Yeah.
in there, and I also had it in my cage. Speaking
Yeah.
of, I left my cage open in there, and my caterpillars are probably crawling away right now. I just happened to think about that. I walked away from them, and there's nobody watching them.
Okay, you
So
need to go. Need to
no,
travel back.
we'll get them. They can't go too far, and even if they do, they're a little bit protected in there because we don't get very many wasps because it's all surrounded by netting. And my netting just showed up for more birds. Now that is a whole tray of monarch chrysalis.
Now, when you say monarch crystal, is that same as eggs? I mean,
No, that is the third stage in the life cycle of the butterfly. Butterflies start out as eggs. The eggs hatch out, become caterpillars. The caterpillars eat and eat and eat and eat, make lots of frass, and then the fifth time they shed their skin, they become a chrysalis. Oh, here's a hummingbird. just flew over my shoulder. And after
Wow.
they make their chrysalis, it's anywhere from about 9 days to about 12 to 15 days. And those chrysalis hatch out and become butterflies. And then we start the process all over again. So
My goodness.
we get them to pair, and then once they pair, we start off with we collecting eggs again. And
Hey,
so,
folks,
yeah.
here's some cool looking cups right here. I had to show these. They're
Oh,
beautiful.
thank you.
And if you need a T-shirt, you've got those too for them.
We got lots of different ones, and a lot of them are different. You can't see there. All you're seeing is the fronts of them. But a lot of our designs on the back, I do one that has individual butterflies on it. We'll do them in a half moon. We'll do them in a circle. We'll do them in checkered pattern, just a random pattern. And when you pick up the shirts, you have to kind of look at the backs of them and see which one you want. I didn't have my yellow one on. I have a yellow one that is butterflies both front and back. And the first time I wore it, I had a gentleman say, "I have a shirt here for you. You're 3X, right?" I said, "Yeah." He says, "Can you go change? I would like your shirt." He had another shirt to give me to put on because he wanted my shirt. So,
wow.
but and it's just a simple shirt that that we press. We press a lot of our own shirts now.
See there, folks. He even gives his shirt off the back for the butterflies.
Yeah. So, but
Now,
a lot of fun.
You grow all your flowers and your host all your flowers there for the butterflies and.
Yeah, we grow pretty much all of our host plants with a few exceptions. We have access to a lot of fields, so a lot of the fields we are able to collect host plants out of, and we collect both plantain and milkweed. We go into the hedgerows. And we collect sassafras because we can use sassafras for our spice bush caterpillars. And with that, all of the surrounding farmers are really good to us. And that allows us to do, feed a lot more caterpillars than normal. So I come back into Butterfly House here just to while you were showing some of the video or some of the clips and stuff there. And I got two caterpillars I had to put back. Nobody else is running away. So we're good there. But
well, that's great.
Yeah, that's good news.
Now they even you can have the little ones that have their pictures taken with the wings there. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, we had that on the wall. One of our patrons gave that to us. It has since deteriorated and come apart, but we have a lot of other things like that. I do have a caterpillar banner that we take all the kids' pictures in it, and then we send that. We usually put the school name on it and the year, and we send a 4x6 photo of every kid to their school, as well as give them the electronic files.
And the little girl beside you, I think that's a beautiful picture there. And just letting kids know that when they get there, they don't have to be afraid of these butterflies or the caterpillars and things. It's really nothing to be afraid of.
No, none of the caterpillars or the butterflies can harm you in any way. The pipe vine, you just don't want to eat the pipe vine because the pipe vine is actually poisonous to ingest, and that's just because of what they eat. Pipe vine itself, Aristolochia, is poisonous. So, but as far as handling any of them, none of our caterpillars for our butterflies, that one there is that? Nope, that's not the one I was thinking. That's a moth caterpillar. What I thought it was maybe it was a zebra swallowtail. we do a lot of conservation here. And one of the things that we're trying to do is we're trying to get the zebra swallowtails reintroduced. We've gotten a lot of people to plant pawpaw trees, and pawpaw trees are the only host for the zebra swallowtail. And prior to about the 50s or 60s, there was a lot of pawpaw in the area. It was along the rivers. And when they went through and they put the dikes in, a lot of it got destroyed. And with that, the zebras lost their only host plant. And so a lot of them faded out from the area. Well, we now have about 6 or 7 groves. We have a grove here on our property, and I know of others within about a 3 or 4 mile radius. So I'm looking for a source right now that I can get zebra swallowtails that we can raise and that we can start to reintroduce them into these pawpaw groves to get them back in this area. The thing with most of the swallowtails is that when they're in the area, as long as you have what they need, okay, they will stay in that area, and that's where they overwinter, okay? And as long as they're overwintering in that area, then you'll have a new brood of them in the spring.
Okay, I want to share this little video because we was just talking about. I thought this pretty cute, catching moths, and you can tell what's going on with this. Let me click on this where people can see what I thought was kind of funny, funny, but you can explain why he was trying to catch these butterflies or the moths.
Welcome to another day in the life of a butterfly farmer. We put Prometheus moths in the house last night that hatched out, and look at the males that are flying because 3 of the 4 that we put in were females. We'll take him in and put him in the house. You got 2 more out here. Right here's another one. Come on, see if you can get them. Look at them go. They are trying to get into the butterfly house to pair with the females that we put in here last night. And they are just going everywhere. Now that they've released a couple of them inside, they are chasing the females all over. So thank you for joining us in another day in the life of a butterfly farmer.
That was my grandkids, and like in the video, we did put 3 Prometheus in that were females, and they have a very strong pheromone that the males are attracted to. And we had 8 that we could count. There was 8 Prometheus males that were literally bouncing off of our netting, trying to get into the butterfly house to get those females. We caught 4 of them, 3 or 4, something like that. And the minute we left them inside, they started chasing the females inside. And we come back in 5 minutes later, and we had 3 pair. So the males were definitely doing their job. And I was looking around for her today. She should start laying eggs today, and they'll lay eggs on our spice bush. I did not find any today. What I did find was spice bush eggs. I found a bunch of them on the pipe vine, which is kind of a confused female because she shouldn't be laying them on the pipe vine because their caterpillars will starve. But I gotta tilt the camera in order to show this to you because I don't want to dump my eggs.
Oh, okay.
You see all the eggs?
Yes.
All right. Those are all spice bush eggs, and they roll around in the cup in there. There is probably 300 eggs in there. And what we'll do is we take these in and I'll separate them out into a couple of other cups so we don't have quite so many in at one time. But you can see the yellow in there. And then what we'll do is we start to hatch them out. They'll hatch out in about 3 to 4 days. And then we'll start feeding all the little caterpillars with spice bush leaves in cups. And when they get to be about a half an inch, then we bring them out, we put them in the pop-ups.
Matter of fact, let's show this little video about you washing these eggs. Let me pop this up.
Well, here we are ready to start washing our eggs. And I have them in my cup. And we're going to put the lid on them here and bring them right in here. And we start shaking, we have our bleach solution in the cup, and we go for about a minute here. So try to keep count. Say right now there I'm at about 20 seconds. Since I poured the bleach in, it's not 20 seconds starting to shake. It's 20 seconds from the time you pour the bleach in the cup, which I did up on the side here. So we're a little bit ahead. Okay. And there we're at about 45 seconds. And there's about 55. And we're getting up here pretty close. So now we're going to empty them out of the cup here. You can see they're all floating in there, so we got to get them out of the bleach. And then we start to rinse with cool water. And we like to run all that water right in there, and then we have to wash the eggs that are out of the cup, or that are in the cup, out and get them down in our filter. Okay. And once we have everything out of the cup, we'll pick these up here. And you can see some of the eggs up along the edge there, so we gotta get them down in. But you can see all the eggs floating around in there. And then we run it for about a minute or so here. And we want to get all those eggs moving around. We're going to add a little more water to it. So
Now that's a lot. It's a lot of. I didn't know that. Wow, you didn't change. You didn't change into a butterfly.
And there we have a butterfly. They taste with their feet because their tongues are located on the bottoms of their feet. They smell with their antennas, and they eat with their proboscis. And that's the costume that we use to teach with. And
Oh,
I can see kids 3 years later, and because we do it with a costume, they can tell me all the parts of the butterfly. They breathe through holes in their abdomen called spiracles. So we have to have our spiracles on. They smell with their antennas. So there's noses on the ends of their antennas. They have 4 wings, and my wings aren't going where they belong. There we go. They have 4 wings, and they have 6 legs. So we have to have extra legs because, you know, there's 2, there's 4. We need 2 extra legs. So there's our 2 extra legs, and of course, our proboscis and our compound eyes. So, and now you just had an entire anatomy class for a butterfly.
now, in your store, do you have those like costumes that they can purchase, or maybe the glasses or stuff like that?
No, I do not. These are all custom made. My wings were made by my sister. She used to sew quite a lot for a living, and she made my wings. So I'll give you a nice
How cool! She did a great job at that.
But yeah, it's all about the education. You know, we like to educate everybody about the needs of the butterflies, about conservation, and you know what all you can do to help the butterflies. And in turn, you're helping us.
Well, yeah, just fascinating. I'm just we're at the top of our hour now, David, and it's been excellent. I've learned a lot about butterflies that I had not a clue about, especially washing the eggs like that. I mean, and I would think bleach wouldn't that kill them, but
It's only a 3% solution, and I'll tell you right now, being a butterfly farmer is not for the faint of heart.
I can't imagine.
There's a lot of work.
It's hard to go on vacation and say, "Hey, can you watch my butterflies while I'm gone?"
Vacation is sometime between November and usually February, maybe January, because we have to start all of our plants at that time of year just to be able to get things ready to go for spring.
So it's always something, but it's you got a beautiful farm there. If I ever get up that way, I've got to drop in and see it because it just looks so neat, and especially with all the butterflies flying around you. Uh, and I can imagine the children all coming that spreads that knowledge that you give them, and it plus teaches them how to uh, look at God's creatures in a way that they never looked at it before, and all the things I never knew they tasted with their feet. Right.
We send every kid home with a coloring sheet that is a pasta craft. We use 4 different pieces of pasta. One is an egg, one's a caterpillar, one's a chrysalis, and one is the butterfly. And right across the top of the sheet, it says, "Ask me what I learned today." So it's something that they can take home and teach everybody else. And we also do a recycled newspaper pot, and every kid goes home with a plant. So we're teaching them to recycle, and we're also teaching them to plant habitat.
Well, David, I really appreciate you coming on. I'm going to put you backstage a moment while I sign off, and I'll come right back to you. Okay.
Thank you very much.
Okay, folks, you have learned a lot about butterflies. I know I have, and I know it's a lot more to learn there. It looks like a beautiful farm. You can go there and visit. It's up in Pennsylvania. Just go back and scan the QR code, or the address is down below as we scroll by. But I really appreciate you stopping by and just learning about a lot of God's creatures. And we had bees on here and these butterflies, and we all love to see these beautiful butterflies flying around. And now we know what we can do to help preserve them. Well, I'm Jerry McKee, and you have a wonderful, wonderful day, and we will see you next Monday. Have a great day and the 4th of July. Be safe.